Howdy, guys, and welcome to Big Brother 23 and night number 33 of the overnight feeds, and welcome to Cliff Notes from outside the Big Brother house. Okay, we had quite the excitement on Saturday with the veto competition. If you recall, we had Brittany and Sarah Beth on the block. Veto competition on Saturday. Sarah Beth wins the competition, which sets all kinds of things in motion that have us all excited. Today, we're going to have the veto ceremony. Almost certainly, absolutely guaranteed, Brittany is pulling herself off the block. And almost certainly, I think Christian is going to go up in Brittany's place with the plan for a potential backdoor of Christian. I think it's more likely than not that Christian will be going home on Thursday. But it's not like most weeks where we're going back, or where it's a set decision, the house has agreed, and it's just waiting out the time. Just the opposite. Christian's going to be the potential target, but there's going to be all kinds of fireworks once he is put up. Xavier, Christian, Alyssa are going to be hot. They're going to be vocal. They're going to be campaigning. It's going to be a fun week. So with all that in mind, I really am looking forward to the veto competition this morning. But we did have conversations that happened last night. They got in the backyard after the veto competition. We had some conversations, some people plotting and planning and configuring and thinking and doing everything they do while they're waiting for this veto ceremony today. So with that in mind, let's get right into it, talk about a couple of things that were going on last night. First of all, part of the veto competition, we did have some punishments. We haven't seen Kyland or who's the other one? Or Claire. We haven't seen what their punishments are yet, but we did see what Derek X's punishment is. He is the Lord of the Latrine. He was given a black medieval costume, a big one of those long, what do you call it, bugle, a horn of some sort. His job, anytime anyone has to go to the bathroom, he has to announce that they're going to the bathroom, lead them there, open doors, help them wash hands, whatever may need to be done. He has to do that for 24 hours. So it's going to last until sometime just after the veto meeting, I think, today. He was having fun with it, telling all kinds of jokes, and Big Brother did tell me he had to be a lot louder a few times, but telling all kinds of jokes, things like that, having fun with it. But by the end of the evening, he was getting very tired of having to continually escort people there. He pretty much jokingly at one point said, just put me up as a nomination. I'm tired of doing this, just nominate me instead. So yeah, I went through a punishment myself with some pies, and at first they're fun. You have a lot of fun with it. After a while, it starts wearing on you, and Derek is to that point. Derek X is ready to be done as Lord of the Latrine, and those duties over to someone else. But that was fun watching. Conversations we have going on. Tiffany, Highland, and Xavier are all talking. Tiffany is saying that she doesn't want the jury tainted by someone that's going to figure out the Cookout Alliance. And with that in mind, she really thinks that Claire and then Derek X both need to go pretty soon. She thinks Claire is going to figure out this cookout pretty quick. She thinks that Derek X is a little more innocent, a little more naive. It may take him a little bit longer, but she has no doubt that the two of these eventually are going to figure out what's going on with the Cookout Alliance. She doesn't want them on jury. Well, you're getting at least one on jury, and really, if you're talking Claire and Derek X, you're getting both of them on jury, Tiffany. That's just the way that's going to work. And I don't think it's going to matter. Eventually, it's just a matter of time. Eventually, people are going to figure out the Cookout Alliance. You're going to have some people on the jury, and that's just going to be part of it. But Tiffany is worried about that. Now, the fact that she's saying that she's ready to get rid of Claire just because she may figure everything out, because Claire's smart enough to figure out, pretty good indication this Snake Eyes alliance between Tiffany and Claire as the final two is kaput, right? I've suspected that for a while, but Tiffany keeps making that clear that as much as she wants to work with Claire, she also is very afraid of her. One thing to say about Tiffany, she is playing this game based on strategy and not emotion. She's got to cut someone loose no matter how much she likes you. I think she's going to do it. But Claire better be careful, because she's on the radar for Tiffany. So we've got that. Tiffany also has a little conversation with Kylan during this group of three. And she asked Kylan, she says, look, did you know Sarah Beth before the game? She's continuing to push that angle and see what can be done with it. Kylan immediately said, no, I didn't know anyone before the game, and that includes Sarah Beth. I don't know her. I just don't know her, Tiffany. And Tiffany said, okay. And they finish it up with hugs and saying, yeah, just checking and all the things you say. But Tiffany continues to push as much as she can against Sarah Beth, and trying to drive Kylan and Sarah Beth apart as well, as much as she can do. We got Sarah Beth talking to Xavier, and she's saying that she thinks it would be much better for Derek F to be evicted this week, as opposed to if Brittany had stayed on the block. Now, Sarah Beth already knows about this backdoor plan. Derek X had told her about it during a conversation, during some one-on-one. So Sarah Beth knows what's going on. But I pretty sure that Xavier doesn't know. And so Sarah Beth is playing along, saying, Derek F, he's going to go up, and that's probably better for me. And, it is what it is. Well, she knows where it's at. Xavier does not. But Sarah Beth is arguing while they talk. She's arguing that Christian is a much bigger threat than Derek X is when you compare those two people. She's trying to campaign against Christian before Xavier even realizes that Christian's going to be on the block this week, because she's already trying to get her digs in and make her point. So she's saying, yeah, Christian, he's such a huge threat to all of us, and we got to be careful. Xavier's coming back saying, he's good. Christian's good at some vetoes, but Derek X has the ability to win all different kinds of vetoes. He's a much bigger threat than Christian ever was. So we're already seeing a little bit of resistance from Xavier to any talk about sending Christian out the door. It's going to get worse after the veto meeting, I think. We hear more about the veto challenge itself that took place on Saturday. There was some little controversy because Derek X had said at one point, I wish production hadn't stopped me and let me use my first take or something. And so there was some concern about did production somehow step in and change the outcome and all. Well, no, it's a lot more innocent than that, and it makes a little bit more sense. Apparently, Derek had to make his decision about what he wanted to do, and he started off maybe saying that he wanted the $5,000. He wanted to swap with Sarah Beth, take the $5,000. Unfortunately, when he said it, he wasn't standing in the right position in the backyard to have the cameras properly catch him. Sometimes that happens. And so immediately the cameras stopped. They said, no, Derek, you got to go over here so we can see your face, and something along those lines. So in the process of walking to a new spot where the cameras can better record his response, while he's going over there, Sarah Beth starts begging with him, saying, please don't take the money from me. Please don't do it, Derek X. I'm begging you, don't do it. Well, she apparently got to him, because by the time it was time for him to repeat his answer, he changed it. And I'm not exactly sure what he changed. Can't see Derek X say, yeah, I'll take that punishment instead. But somehow Derek X did not take the money from Sarah Beth. As a result, she ended up with keeping the money. He ended up with the punishment costume. And I think that's why he was in the sea glass room yesterday saying, I really wish I'd gone ahead and kept my first answer. So there you have it, a little inside scoop. It was a production issue. He did have to give his answer twice. Second time he changed it, but it was just because they were trying to get the shot, and there was some convincing and campaigning going on in between his first answer and his second. So there you go. All right, the conversation, we got Kylan and Sarah Beth in the hammock talking to each other. Again, they got the backyard, so they're back there enjoying it. She's saying that Xavier is still talking about saying, there was an agreement not to put up any kings, and really that he's thinking there's not a backdoor plan. Well, we know Derek X already tried to clarify with Xavier, saying, look, our agreement was I wasn't putting you up. But Xavier is still trying to hold on to this. Later he said he's not putting any kings up. He wouldn't do that to us. So that means there's not a backdoor plan. Well, he's already put up Sarah Beth. So, it's a little bit of a difference, right? But anyway, so Sarah Beth is saying Xavier still apparently is believing that the kings aren't the targets this week. She is saying that if she does make it through this week, we'll see, that she makes it through this week, that she's going to go for HOH. Through it last week, she's learned her lesson. She will not be doing that this week. She's going to go for the HOH, but she's really not sure exactly who her game plan would be. She's a little bit lost right now, a little flustered that she got put on the block. She's probably feeling like she doesn't understand the house nearly as much as she thought she did. We all go through that at times. So she's saying she's not really sure what she would do, but she's going to win that HOH just to protect herself. Now, it would seem to me that if she did get HOH, a natural target would probably be Derek X and Hannah for her. And I would be surprised if she did that, but we'll see. The big problem for Sarah Beth, I think, is this. I think the bigger target this week is on Christian as opposed to Sarah Beth. that there's a better chance that Christian is going to go home, that Sarah Beth will survive. She will make it to jury. But that doesn't mean that the target isn't still on Sarah Beth. Tiffany continues to work her magic. She continues to plant her seeds. Hannah still is not a huge fan of Sarah Beth, and certainly is neither is Derek F. and a few others. So even if Sarah Beth survives this week, I think there is a very good chance that Sarah Beth could be juror number 1, juror number 2. I just think her days are limited in this house because she has people that are trying to target her. She has to hope that some other bigger targets are created, and that may happen. If there is a backdoor of Christian, you're going to have Xavier and Alyssa very upset at the rest of the house. And the best thing that could happen to Sarah Beth is if you get those former kings going after Derek X, Hannah, Tiffany, whoever they think is most responsible on the other side of the house. If you get those two sides taking pot shots at each other, Sarah Beth may have a chance to ride a little bit under the radar until things change enough that she can regain her footing. So that's what she's got to be hoping for right now. She needs to do everything she can to drive those wedges further, I think, over the next few days also. Another conversation. Tiffany is talking to Alyssa and Christian. Again, Tiffany talks to everyone. She's friendly with everyone. She's working her. I just continue to be impressed with her game. She's talking to Alyssa and Christian, and she's mentioning Highland and Sarah Beth again. She's recounting the longest hug I've ever seen in my entire life took place with the two of them. She talks that they're hugging again out in the backyard of the hammock and everything. In fact, at one point, Alyssa and Christian start hugging, and they're trying to say, "Okay, Tiffany, tell us how long his hug lasts." And Tiffany just lets it go on. And so again, she's really trying to hit home. But Kylan and Sarah Beth are so close to each other. They're a couple. We've got to do something about it. They're planning on voting out Sarah Beth, figuring out how they can get out Sarah Beth. Alyssa is saying that, and this is with Sarah Beth on the block this week, they want her out. Alyssa is saying also that she wants to wait right until the eviction itself, like 30 minutes before the eviction, before telling Hannah that the plan is to send Sarah Beth home and that Hannah needs to vote to send Sarah Beth home. The concern from Alyssa is that if they tell Hannah earlier than that, then it's going to get back to Derek X, or it's going to get back to Kylan, and then from Kylan, it's going to get back to Derek X. So that side's going to learn about it. They may start trying to win some of these votes back and everything else. So they're really thinking they're going to keep this thing a secret until the very last minute, which is going to be just that much more exciting for Thursday night, because it means, just like my season, you may see some fireworks right up until showtime itself as people start finagling and working their positions and all of that. There's a lot of talk also about, because again, Alyssa and Tiffany knows. Alyssa and Christian don't know that there's the backdoor plan in place yet. And so there's a lot of talk about, after Sarah Beth goes home, then voting out Kylan and Derek X right after that. But they got to get rid of those guys because they're just too tight with each other. They're too strong, and they're friends with Sarah Beth. So Alyssa is commenting on how smart. She's saying, we're pretty smart, right? We're getting this all worked out. We're doing pretty good. Well, I'd be curious to ask how you feel about that. Come Monday around lunchtime or so. We'll ask that question again, Alyssa. We've got Tiffany talking to the cameras, just so one-on-one with the cameras, one-on-one with us. So I think she's being fairly truthful here. She's confirming that the plan is still to backdoor Christian, as opposed to her flipping over and trying to maybe get Sarah Beth out. She's talking about how much she likes Derek X. She's saying that she will never vote to evict Derek X, and that if he's ever on the block, she is going to vote against anyone who is on the block against him. Does this include a cookout member? Does Tiffany feel so strongly about Derek X that she would vote keep him as opposed to, I don't know, Azar or Derek F or Xavier or Kylan? I kind of would be surprised if that was the case, but she's talking straight to us, so I don't know. She obviously feels very tight with Derek X, and they have been spending a lot of time together. And Derek X, she's almost like a mentor to Derek X in some ways. But we had no thing. They were going over addition tables, multiplication tables a little bit. Apparently, Tiffany didn't feel real strongly with that, so she's got Derek X helping her with that part. So it's not just a mentor from one side. They're working with each other, and it's kind of fun to watch. a little scary thinking that someone's going to backstab the other one somewhere down the road. But for right now, they're on very good terms with each other. Tiffany has decided, again talking to the cameras, Tiffany has decided that Alyssa really needs to go before Sarah Beth. And the reasoning is because she's almost positive Alyssa wants to put up Kai and Derek X based on a conversation she just had. She's saying, yeah, she can't take out Derek X and Kylan. Those are my people. I'm working with them. You can't do that. So she wants to get out Alyssa before Alyssa wins HOH and has a chance to do that. And she's figuring that Sarah Beth is now a big enough target that she can be safe for later. Get out Alyssa now. Everyone, I've got planted the seeds. We'll get Sarah Beth out somewhere down the road. And so she's thinking Alyssa has to be really close on the radar, on the target to go out the door. Brittany is talking to Azza, saying she's really pissed. She said, I'm pissed because neither Xavier or Christian came up and congratulated me after I won my veto competition on Saturday. And then she says, now Xavier later apologized, so I'm okay with that. But Christian never did. He never congratulated me. He never even apologized for not congratulating me. So with that in mind, if Christian's up on the block, if he's a replacement nomination, I'm voting him out the door because he didn't apologize to me and he didn't congratulate me. That's it. He's out the door. Now, at first, I was going to complain about this. I was going to talk about Brittany being too emotional, a little too petty with her reasoning and all that. But I thought about some more, and I really think she's just setting up an excuse that she's going to throw out there when she casts that vote for Christian. She's going to say, look, I didn't plan anything because he's so mean to me. He was mean when I won the veto and all of that. That's why I voted for him. And she's going to go that direction to try to stay on as good a term as possible with the rest of the Kings. If they think that she just voted strictly on an emotional, I was upset with them kind of deal, as opposed to some sort of big grand plan strategy, that maybe they won't be quite so upset with her. I think that's okay. I think people may even buy it because Brittany has played a little emotionally in the past. So I think it's plotting on her point, and I think it's a decent idea. All right, everyone is celebrating Sarah's birthday. She celebrated her birthday today. Originally, she was saying, oh, let's just celebrate it later. But then she realized that there may be a lot of people upset with different things, that she may be a big target after the veto ceremony. So she said, okay, let's just do it at midnight. So as soon as midnight came along, they picked her up on the shoulders, carried her into the kitchen. They had a pie fixed for her and celebrated her birthday, saying happy birthday. We've got Brittany and Tiffany talking about it being such a weird week. Brittany is upset that Sarah Beth had wanted people to throw the veto to Sarah Beth as a way. In fact, there was even talk about Brittany trying to throw the veto so Sarah Beth could come off the block, which was a crazy idea and made zero sense. But Brittany's upset about that. She's also mentioning to Tiffany, saying, I didn't realize how close Kylan and Sarah Beth are. They're spending so much time together. I never realized that until now. Again, Tiffany makes sure that everyone knows about that, right? All right, we've got Derek X and Xavier talking. Derek X is trying to prepare Xavier, I think, by saying, look, Xavier, the house keeps mentioning Christian as someone that maybe needs to go and all. And Xavier is saying, look, if Christian goes this week, Derek X, you're going to be a target the following week. Why would you want to do that? And then he goes into a little more detail. He says, look, if you nominate Christian, the Kings are all going to be mad at you. If you nominate Derek F, the Jokers are going to be mad at you. But Derek X, who do you want more mad at you? Would you rather have the Kings mad at you or the Jokers mad at you? You need to think about that. That sounds like just almost a little bit of a threat to me. Xavier's trying to deflect any nominations away from the Kings. Don't think it's going to work, Xavier. I just think Derek X is going to stand his ground and make it happen today. We've got Azza and Brittany talking about Brittany's veto speech, which is all ready to go. She's got it all worked out. And it's not long, so congratulations, Brittany, on keeping it nice and short. But Brittany's got her speech to work out. She's also talking about how she will absolutely cry if she ever meets Tommy from my season. Oh, I can see those two talking and having a blast with each other. We'll make it happen after the season, Brittany. But Brittany also saying that she cannot believe that Christian hasn't celebrated her veto win yet. Keep talking about that. Can't believe he hadn't celebrated it yet. And she's also amazed that he doesn't know that he's going up as a renomination as a backdoor just yet. Well, Brittany, maybe he's worried enough that that could be a possibility, and that's why he wasn't so incredibly happy when you won the veto competition. Probably nothing personal. It's got a little more to do with his position in the game as well, but she's still a little upset about that. Azza is talking, and she's telling Brittany that she hasn't told Derek F yet about the Christian backdoor. So if that's the case, and I don't know that anyone else has told Derek F either, so Derek F may still be thinking that one of the other jokers could be going up in place of Brittany. He was been worried about being a target for the last week or so. So I guess he's still worried. We're going to see a huge sigh of relief on his face when the veto ceremony takes place this morning, aren't we? He's going to be extremely happy. Christian and Alyssa and Xavier, not so much. Derek F, he may do a little dancing. All right, we have got Tiffany and Claire, Hannah, Derek X, Hannah. I said Hannah twice. Who did I miss? I don't know, but we have a lot of them talking, and it's more talk about Kylan and Sarah Beth and that longest Guinness Book of World Records hug that took place. Tiffany is also talking about Tiffany's recounting a story that Sarah Beth supposedly said that when she was in kindergarten, Sarah Beth licked her palm and then she slapped another girl in the face. And Tiffany is saying that's just the maximum amount of disrespect that someone could show. But yeah, if someone goes home based on something they did as a kindergartner, that's going way back in the timelines, isn't it? But she is bringing up that Sarah Beth slapped a girl while she was in kindergarten. And finally, Tiffany is saying that Sarah Beth said that she is single and that Tiffany just absolutely believes that Sarah Beth is lying about her girlfriend, that there's just no girlfriend, or at least there's not one at current times. And that Sarah Beth is just saying that so she could hang with the guys and not be too suspect. Do you see a theme here in terms of the conversations? It's a lot of throwing Sarah Beth under the bus. So even if Christian goes home this week, they've already got their target lined up for next week. I absolutely believe. We've got Hannah helping Derek X with his veto speech for the morning. She's reminding him as well that if Christian doesn't go home, it's only a matter of time before he goes after Derek X and Hannah. She kind of didn't mention that part, but she said he'll go after you next. You got to get him out while you can. And she's also saying, look, here's the other thing. Xavier may not be as mad at you as you think, or as he's saying. That Christian is not Xavier's number one ride or die type target. Yeah, they may be close, but they're not ride or die. So if you get rid of Christian, Xavier he knows how to play the game. He'll be fine. So she's trying to calm some of Derek X's fears. She's also saying that Christian can't make it to jury. Christian has to go home this week, Derek X, because if he doesn't, even if we boot him out next week, he's on jury. There's a possibility of a jury battle back. He could get back in the house, and we sure as heck don't want that. So she's really pushing the angle that they need to backdoor and get out Christian right now, which is a little bit surprised. I mean, Hannah obviously had some beef with Sarah Beth, but they've either calmed that down a little bit, or she just really truly does see Christian as a bigger threat because she's all on board with that. Derek X, they start talking a little bit about scenarios, Final Fours, Final Sixes. Derek is saying how great it would be to be in a Final Four with Hannah and Claire, Tiffany, and himself. I can maybe see that. I actually think those four could work together well. I think they would be could be a very fun Final Four. I'd be happy seeing that. The only fly in the ointment, so to speak, is that we already know that Tiffany's a little bit nervous about Claire and may not want to take Claire to a Final Four or Final Two or anything else. So I don't know. That's a bit of a rub there, but I could see that Final Four, and I'd be okay with it. But they're also talking about a Final Six, and they lay out an actual eviction order, and they're talking about if that in a perfect world they vote out Christian this week, then Azza, Sarah Beth, Alyssa, Brittany, and then Derek F. So the Final Six would be Tiffany, Claire, Kylan, Xavier, Derek X, and Tiffany. Now, I'm okay with that Final Six as well, but I have a feeling the Cookout Alliance might have something to say about that if you're talking about booting Azza next week and then Derek F a little further down the road. And I personally think Derek F's really low on that totem pole for the Alliance Cookout. That doesn't mean he isn't still a member. So there you have it, guys. Not horrible conversations, horrible strategic conversations last night. It's a lot more preparation for today's veto competition. Once we see some shocked people, no matter what happens, we're going to see some shocked people. But I imagine it's going to be Xavier, Christian, and Alyssa. It'll be the shocked parties. Once we see that, once we know who the two evictees are for Thursday, that's when it's going to get exciting. That's, I think, when we're going to see a whole lot of conversations and a whole lot of begging, pleading, threatening, and everything else that people can think of to protect their parties that are up on the block. So I'm going to be back tomorrow morning. I think I'm going to have some pretty fun stuff to talk about then. So y'all come back tomorrow. I'll see y'all then. Until then, have a fantastic Monday. SKD 143. Here's my friends. Bye.